What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sebastian Scales Show. There's a Christmas tree in the background, as you can see. And I leave it up all year round, because I like it. People come over and they're like, dude, it's July. Why do you have a Christmas tree up? I'm like, because it feels good, you know? Do you need any explanation other than that? Do you need any explanation at all? No, probably not. Anyway, yeah, I like Christmas trees. And what's going on? I had a really interesting sequence today where, because of what happened with me getting locked out of my Notes app, I started resetting all of my old passwords. And there was an email that I had been locked out of for a long time and had forgotten to try to get back into it. And I got back into it today as a result of resetting all these passwords. And in that email, there was somebody who had reached out. It's one of the foundation emails. And somebody had reached out from a conference in Iowa. If you remember an episode a while back about the conference, the Champions of Children conference, there were people that had seen me at that conference who reached out to, or who reached out to the programmer of their own conference, and said that they should book me for theirs. And I'm seeing this, it's been 4 months. I'm 4 months late, but it's still in time. I'm just in time. And I'm seeing this and I'm like, I would not have seen this had it not been for me getting locked out of my Notes app. And this is what I mean about even in the midst of experiences that you don't want to be happening. Every fiber in my being wanted to get into that Notes app. But even in those moments, you can know that whatever it is that's happening is essential. And oftentimes, there's a time and space delay until the reasoning behind what's happening reveals itself, between why what's happening is happening. My brain was just like, did that make sense? You should say it again. Say for. For what's it? You get what I'm trying to say. It's okay, brain. Don't worry. It was a classic example of I needed that thing that I didn't want to have happen. I needed that to happen in order for something even better to happen. I give up I have the inconvenience of having to reset all my passwords, and as a result, I am given this thing that I needed to find. And so there was that, and there was an email from this lady who does trauma research and psychedelic healing for trauma, which is one of the main goals for the foundation, is developing this retreat center where we can do psychedelic healing, meditation healing, all the different things, somatic, all this stuff. So this lady had reached out being like, hey, saw your stuff and would love to be on your podcast and work together in any capacity. And I'm like, dude, this is essential information. This is a fucking massively important connection. And so that in the conference, it's dude, we can get to a point where basically every moment we can completely accept every moment, knowing that it is what we must be experiencing because it's what we're experiencing. We don't experience anything that we're not supposed to experience on a soul level. This is how I feel about the molestation. It took me 2 decades to start feeling this way. But now it feels like I'm gaining some momentum, not just sort of to retroactively have it happen, but much more quickly realize. And if you have that realization in the moment when the non-desirable thing is happening, you literally change the experience. You change the experience from something that you don't want to have happen. It can still be something that you don't want to have happen, but you can rest in the knowing that it must happen because it is happening. And in that acceptance, you dissolve the resistance to reality that creates the suffering in the first place. So, yeah. Yeah, it's great. And then, we do that enough times and we'll probably get to the point where, next time I get locked out of my notes app, I won't, begin to spiral at all. We'll probably get to a point where we just don't even spiral even for a moment. You're constantly wearing the soul lenses. And knowing that in the orchestration of it all, there isn't a moment that's out of place. It doesn't mean that you should just accept, if somebody's attacking you or whatever, then leave. But everything is there for you. It's just up to you to decide that it is. So it was it was a great sequence. And then I went over to have dinner with some friends tonight, and it's funny, I've noticed that my brain basically starts with the assumption that there's something wrong. Like, my brain is rather than seeing something happen and trying to figure out why it could be wrong, my brain is assuming that things are already wrong. Something's wrong, and then whatever happens in my reality, my brain just tries to come up with a justification for why. It tries to rationalize, tries to confirm its belief that there's something wrong and that there's people are mad at me or whatever. And I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't say love you to my friend when I was leaving. And I was like, and he didn't say it either, even though we often say it. And it's hilarious to think that by not saying I love you, I'm assuming that he hates me now, and I'm assuming that he thinks that I'm upset with. It's just an absolute So this is the reason I'm sharing this, is because you can see the absurdity, right? Love is not something that you need to constantly be saying with words in order to convey. Love is a knowing. And I love my friends at this dinner so much. And I love everybody. I really love these people, though, also. And there's no lack of articulation of saying I love you that would convince my friends that I don't love them anymore. But because my brain is operating under the assumption that there's something wrong, it's just latching on to that in a moment, just looking for some sort of confirmation. There it is. There's the danger. I knew it. And it was an interesting moment because I can just see how much quicker the awareness is flowing in. And so even though the fear is still there, it's just happening faster. The remembering that I'm safe is happening faster. And And fuck yeah. And that's great. And I'm looking forward to a moment or moments, infinity. I'm looking forward to being able to just exist in a space of peace that isn't operating under the assumption that there's something wrong with me, or something wrong with my behavior, or people are misinterpreting me, all these things that come from childhood trauma. I'm looking forward to, I don't know if transcending is the right word, but releasing the fear and healing the fear. And life is already so fucking good, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited to continue this process. And, just in the same way with the passwords thing, it's like you can see the fear in these moments. As soon as the awareness is there, you can see that this is essential to help you release the fear. The fear is there to be released. The fear is there and ready to be. I mean, it's you. I put up some resistance because you've convinced yourself that you need to think this way in order to survive. But if there is fear in your reality, it can be released. And so your whole perspective on fear can change. It's just an indicator that your mind is still scared. But the awareness of your soul can quell or calm any storm of the mind. And it's just a matter of time. Man, how cool would it be to just all be in that space all the time? There must come a point when it's just like we're all just there, We're all just in total oneness, total harmony. Not afraid at all, just existing purely in love. And building and deepening that love infinitely deep. I'm looking forward to it. So, anyway, hope you're having a great night. And I will see you tomorrow. Adios.